Ladies and gentlemen, one of former President Trump's logical and rational defenses, and there are many of them, pertaining to how the Federal Bureau of Investigation um, has gone after him, is that there's extreme bias and prejudice and a political motive fueling their investigations into Trump and his actions, or classified data, or Mar-a-Lago. This is true. Everybody knows this. They don't like Trump. Peter Strzok, Kevin Kleinsmith, Peter Strzok, who said, we'll stop Trump in a text message. We are going to stop Trump from becoming president. I mean, could you imagine if he said that we're going to stop Clinton from becoming president and Clinton was indicted? Could you imagine the response from media? Kevin Kleinsmith, who pleaded guilty to actually falsifying information. He pled guilty in the Durham probe special counsel. The Durham probe is at least 1-1. If you want to say 2-0, you could possibly, because Robbie Mook and Mark Elias pointed a finger at Hillary Clinton in a court of law. It's never happened before. But you say, oh, well, you know what? The Sussman wasn't convicted. That's another story. Nobody believed, the jury did not believe that anyone at the Federal Bureau of Investigation was duped. The jury, like the entire planet, knows that everyone there wanted to investigate Trump at all times. So you can go down the Comey, who couldn't find intent, even though he stated there were violations of the law pertaining to the handling of classified data. Andrew McCabe got money from Virginia Democrats right as he was investigating both Clinton and Trump. You can look, there are a whole bunch of other people. One person recently in the Federal Bureau of Investigation forced to resign because he was a part of hiding Hunter's laptop story, which is clear, like graft. It's not like, see, any corruption within the Democratic Party they think is like some kind of bizarre theory. It's like it's actually public record knowledge. The Daily Mail, the New York Post was actually suspended for reporting on this and breaking the story. Like, those journalists deserve the Pulitzer Prize. That's what the Pulitzer Prize is there for, to confront, to speak truth to power, not to side with the powerful, which is what the Washington Post does, and in the New York Times. Okay. The entire American political establishment is leveled against Trump. Now, when Durham gets a conviction, and he will, because there's 5 counts, so I'll read you this. Special Counsel John Durham, this is the Department of Justice, announced the federal grand jury returned an indictment, with 5 counts of making false statements to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Russian national, but the issues pertain, the false statements pertain to the sources of information he provided to the UK investigative firm and working alongside a public relations executive tied directly to both Bill and Hillary, which is absolutely hilarious. So, unfortunately for the Steele dossier subsource, there will be at least one conviction. He should have simply negotiated a plea deal like Kevin Kleinsmith. So, there's going to be one conviction. Okay, because you have 5 counts. You'll get at least 1 out of the 5 counts. You get 1 out of the 5 counts, it undermines what Merrick Garland is doing. So hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. I might have a live stream later tonight. I'm not exactly sure. I might go ahead and do that. Not sure. But you go ahead and you have an indictment of Danchenko, the subsource, the conviction. Now you have the basis for more indictments and more convictions, and you have a story unfolding that nobody can actually shy away from. Everyone will have to admit that there are loyalists within the Federal Bureau of Investigation that are tied to the Democratic Party or Democratic Party loyalists. This is not like some kind of egregious statement, okay? These agencies have always been political. 20 years ago, they sided with the Bush administration. This is just basic understanding of politics. You'd have to be like this political ostrich and just deliberately place your head in the sand just so you ignore the reality of what's actually taking place and going on. Okay? To think that this is all apolitical, and that Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper and Brennan and Kleinsmith and the guy that was just forced out of the Bureau for hiding Hunter's laptop story and writing letters to Facebook and other companies and Twitter telling them, gosh, we think it's a big problem from the Kremlin. So don't discuss an actual story where Hunter broke the law. Okay? Um, when Clinton or Hunter break the law, suddenly the rule of law is ripped apart, ripped to shreds. When Trump, 6 years after they've tried everything to indict him, might have actually, said something that isn't true to the Federal Bureau of Investigation pertaining to, or the DOJ pertaining to how many classified documents he had. So then they get him on obstruction because they're almost certainly going to get him. It's only going to shine a light on the corruption of government officials who were tied directly with one political party. And indicted Trump, like I explained, could actually increase in popularity. He's up over mashed potato brains Joe by 2.2 points, according to Real Clear Politics. Now, the Durham Pro Special Counsel factors into this. It's a special counsel. It's very important. And you have to look at this in terms of the actual long the long game, not the short term. Well, how come they're not indicting higher ups? How come they're not going after the top level officials? Rome was not built in a day, and he is like, you have to understand, they're trying to level the entire United States government against one man. Okay, they're doing a pretty good job of it actually, because they have almost every single major publication, late night, and social media algorithms helping them out. It's stunning if you really think about it. It's absolutely stunning what they've been able to accomplish in terms of suppressing dialogue and discussion and discourse about their own behavior. When you look at what Trump has been able to accomplish in terms of getting half the electorate to consistently choose him over a Democrat because of the household median income being at record highs. Like, Democrats don't understand. His policies worked. We had a record low in poverty. We had a great foreign policy. Okay, we had a situation where the country was running on all cylinders. It was the media and the political establishment in Hollywood that were melting down and apoplectic and in an absolute frenzy, disowning friends and family, telling people, I can't be your friend anymore. You're voting for Trump. Like, this has become a religion. It's become an actual religion, and nothing is worse than a very intelligent, highly educated person who has to make absurd leaps of logic because their initial arguments are so weak. So when they say Trump is an authoritarian, signing prison reform legislation, First Step Act, allocating more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, making the funding permanent, removing us from numerous theaters of war, ending counterinsurgency conflicts with the Doha Agreement and other decisions where even you had Pentagon officials lying to him just to keep Americans in harm's way forever. I mean, you can't make this up. And then there's a recession, and people would rather have a recession. They think it's just a recession. I mean, it's after 2 years, we experienced, really horrible things. Like, well, who pushed to end economic activity 2 years ago? Who pushed to end economic? What political side gleefully enjoyed every restaurant, every business just ceasing to exist for that moment? Said, oh, you have to, you can't. Okay, what political side? It wasn't Trump Republicans. It wasn't Trump. And you can say, well, he signed off on it for a little bit, like a month, and the entire world, like, what was he supposed to do? He probably should have kept fighting. But, those press conferences were an abomination. He should never have had those press conferences. But anyway, and the thing is, it's like you have a situation where once the Durham Pro Special Counsel gets a high-profile conviction, and unfortunately for this Steele subsource, Durham is actually going to be the lead attorney. So you have Trump who will utilize this in a court of law when he's indicted. I think he'll almost certainly be indicted. I'm not making a firm prediction, but he'll almost certainly be indicted, unfortunately. And that'll almost certainly help him, despite their best efforts to knock him out at 24. The Durham Probe Special Counsel is very important, ladies and gentlemen. He'll actually use that in a court of law as part of his defense Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I might have a live stream later tonight. I'm not sure, but I will definitely have one tomorrow evening. Thanks, everybody.